All right, students, what's up? Welcome back, kings and queens. It's your boy, Coach Byrd, and I am back here with another lesson for you today. And as you can see on your screen, we're going to be talking about comparing and ordering rational numbers. All right, and I got a point up that I want us to read and understand. When comparing and ordering rational numbers, it's easiest to change all the numbers into the same type of number when needed, because it's not always necessarily needed. But that point is very important. So our goal today is to compare and order rational numbers using a number line and greater than, less than, or equal to symbols. Okay, so let's look. And my job is to make it as easy for you as possible, and for you to recognize when you may need to and when you may not need to use a number line. So work smarter and not harder. Let's look at example number one. Example number one says compare using greater than, less than, or equal to. All right. So this one may be easier. I don't know how you guys look at it, but remember, the bigger the negative number is, the smaller it is. And remember, the mouth opens up at the bigger number. So in this particular case, um, 16, negative 16 is the bigger number, because if I was to draw my number line, all right, and zero is right there, draw an arrow, because remember the number line keeps going. It would be negative 17 and then negative 16. All right, and in between 0 and negative 16 will be every other number that falls in there. But remember, on the left side of the number line, the closer your number is to 0, the bigger it is. All right, and I like to write a plus and a minus over here, so you can actually know that when you come to the left, you're getting smaller, and when you're going to the right, you are actually getting bigger. Let's look at the next one. All right. So we want to compare 1/6 and negative 8,300. All right. And I know some of you are saying, well, I don't know what 1/6 is as a fraction, I mean, as a decimal. So this is hard for me to compare. Well, if you look at your problem to begin with, what you will notice is that one of the numbers is negative and the other one is positive. So when I draw my number line, all right, 0 is right here. I know 1/6, wherever it is, it's going to be on the right side. And negative 8,300 is going to be on the left side because it's a negative. So now remember, whichever number is on the right is the biggest. So in actuality, this one is going to be bigger. I don't have to really convert 1/6 just yet. Because if you remember, analyze your problem first. Work smarter, not harder. There's a lot of times where you can look at a problem and identify the answer without even working anything out. And because I have a positive and a negative, um, number, then my positive number is going to be the biggest, okay? So let's move on. I'm going to pull the other worksheet up. Give me 1 second. All right. Let's look at example 3 and 4. All right. So with this particular example, I have two decimals. I have negative 45 hundredths and 550 or 5 tenths. All right, however you want to look at it. When I draw my number line, remember, one of them is positive and one of them is negative. If 0 go right here, then wherever, I know point 50 is going to be on this side, and I know negative 45 hundredths is going to be on this side. So whenever you are comparing, make sure you analyze the problem first. So in this particular case, that's going to be the bigger number. All right. Um, let's look at number 4. All right. Okay, now we have two negative numbers. Okay, but still analyze your problem first. So if I analyze this problem, all right, I know I'm gonna put 0 down here because I'm gonna work on the left side because both of my numbers are negative. Okay. Um, I know that negative 1/6, if this is 1, if this is the whole number 1, negative 1/6 will fall somewhere in between 0 and 1, because 1/6 is a fraction, which is just a part. It's not even a whole. If it was 1 and 1/6, then it would be behind the 1. But because it's just 1/6, it's not even a whole yet. Remember, a fraction is just a part. It's not a whole. So, and I know negative 10 is going to be somewhere back down here. All right. So still looking at this, I know that 1/6 is going to be my biggest number, okay? And I'm showing you how to use a number line to identify this, all right? Because negative 1/6 is going to be closer to 0. In order for negative 1/6 to be smaller than 10, it would have to be negative 10 and 1/6 or something like that. You know, like it would have to be that. But because there's no whole number in front of the 1/6, it's not even 1 yet. Okay, it's not even 1 yet. So that means it's closest to 0. All right, and let's look at ordering. Let's continue to part the other part. All right. So now we're talking about ordering them, putting them in order from least to greatest. And we're going to look at example 5 and 6 for this particular video. So we want to put these numbers in order from least to greatest, okay? Looking at my numbers, I know for a fact that this number right here is going to be my smallest number. All right, because my other two numbers are negative. So if I would put them in order from least to greatest, negative 7/12 would be the smallest number. All right, now remember, well, let me do this. Let me not do it that way. Negative 7/12 would be my smallest number because it's negative. And if I look at my other two numbers, I have 7,572. Well, 0 and 7,500 is not even a whole number, and 72 is a whole number. So that's the order that I will put those in. All right, that's the order. Now, let's look at our next one. Let's look at example number 6. Example number 6, now every number is negative. So now we got to go a little bit deeper. Continue to analyze your problem and see if you can find anything that helps. All right. So remember, we're still doing least to greatest. Now, if I do my number line, I'm going to do it up here. All right. And everything is negative, so I'm going to put a 0 right here because I'm working on the left side. And if this is 1, I know that negative 3/20 is going to fall between 0 and 1 because it is not, it should be a negative 1, I apologize. It's going to fall between 0 and negative 1 because it is not a whole number yet. It is not, it's just a fraction, it's a part. So when we talk about our greatest number, because the other two numbers have a whole number, 1 and 2300 and 1 and 20, 1.20, 1.1 and 2/10, I know that negative 3/20 is going to be the bigger number. All right. So I'm going to write that. That's my first number, negative 3/20, because it's closest to 0. All right. Now, the other two numbers I'm going to do, I'm going to just line them up. I have 1 and 2300, and then I have 1 and 2/10, and I can put a 0 there. Now, if I'm comparing these, remember, just go, they both have a 1. Then if you go to the tens column, I'm sorry. If you go to the tens column, they both have a 2. So now I have a 3 and a 0, and my 3 is bigger, but we're talking about they're both negative. So on this side, so this would be 1 and 2300, and this would be negative 1 and 2000. All right, or 2/10, I'm sorry. So now when I'm ordering these, I know negative 1.2 comes next, and then negative 1.23. All right, because if I'm using my number line, the closest I am to 0 on the left side, the bigger I am. So remember, before you start ordering and comparing rational numbers, change them to the same thing first. But if once they become the same thing, look at them and compare them from negative to positive first, and then if it's a fraction, you know that that's not even going to be a whole just yet. So hopefully this video helps you order and compare rational numbers, and I'll see you in the next video.